Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Daily Bullet, a Second Amendment Foundation podcast. My name is Paul Lathrop. We're doing one of these every day to help promote and highlight people that are helping with the struggle to retain our Second Amendment rights. Joining me today is Frank Tait. Frank is candidate for the NRA Board of Directors and ran this past month in the election that took place in, I believe, Tucson at the end of October. And Frank, thanks for joining us today, man.
I'm glad you're having me here today, Paul. Thank you.
So let's get started. You ran for the 76th seat on the board this past October, and unfortunately, you did not get the nomination. Why are you running for the board? What prompted you to do that?
I'm an NRA training counselor, and part of what got me irritated to start making changes with the NRA were things like the Carry Guard program and reading about the mismanagement and misuse of members' money. And so at the 2019 annual meeting, I was the person who put the resolution out calling for the resignation of Wayne LaPierre and the executive committee, the audit committee, the finance committee. When that was summarily dismissed, I got irritated and said, okay, the only way I'm going to make this change is to run for the board. So I ran for the board, and I came in dead ass last. Mm-hmm. And then the 76th seat is open to all those who qualified for the ballot. And I did better this time. I came in second. I was still outvoted 3-1, but I came in second. And I've already secured enough signatures to get back on the ballot for 2021.
Okay, 2021, that's the ballots usually get sent out in the NRA publications in January. And I believe everything, I think Houston is where we're going this year for the NRA annual meetings, and that's where the board elections are decided.
Yeah, well, the election's actually decided by the mail-in ballots. So everyone gets their magazine with in January, and if you don't get a paper magazine, if you get it electronically, like I get my magazines on the internet, I get mailed a ballot, and then everyone needs to vote. If I remember the statistics from the board meeting in October, there were 2.6 million ballots mailed out, mm-hmm. and only 110,000 members actually voted. So wow. To me, one of the big challenges is how do we get NRA members to actually vote? Last year when I was running, I went to the SHOT Show, I went to the Great American Outdoor Show, and I walked around and I talked to people. And many were telling me that they don't know who to vote for because they don't know the candidates. They don't know what the candidates stand for, and so rather than make a mistake, they choose not to vote. Mm-hmm. And so I really appreciate this as an opportunity to get my message out there as to why people should be voting for the board of directors, because that's the only way we're going to make change. At that board meeting, at the members meeting in October in Tucson, well, there were 7 resolutions that were put forward to try and affect positive change for the NRA. Mm-hmm. 6 of them were referred to a committee, and 1 was dismissed out of hand. So
yeah, John Richardson, a good friend of mine and one of the co-hosts on my Polite Society podcast, I believe, was the one that introduced the resolution that was just dismissed out of hand.
No, John did he did the one on term limits. There was another person who put a resolution similar to what I did in 2019, and that was dismissed because it was referencing things in the pending litigation from the New York Attorney General, and that was just dismissed as being out of order. But John's was on term limits, if I recall, and that was turfed to the Bylaws and Resolutions Committee.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your positions. If you were to become a member of the board this coming April, what would you like to see done? What are you going to work towards?
Well, a couple things. I've been serving on boards of directors for over 20 years. I currently serve on 6 different boards. I'm the chairman of a gun club. I'm the secretary of a board. I'm the treasurer of a board. So I know how boards are supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
And the NRA runs like a legislature, not a board. So to me, it's 76 members. It's too big.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be cut down to a manageable size. That's number one. Reduce the size of the board. Second, when you saw the swearing in of all the re-elected board members, the average age seems to be about 70. We need new blood in the organization. We need term limits. So I very much support the resolution that John Richardson put out. And so that we need some way of retaining the knowledge and the relationships and the skills of these board members, but you can do that through an emeritus status where they have a voice but not a vote.
Mm-hmm.
But we need new blood coming into the organization. The other thing that we look at is the transparency. Rob Pincus had a resolution in front of the board to publish audited membership numbers, because the anti-gunners say that the 5 million members is inflated, and it's always a squishy number. It's around 5 million or whatever. Let's just publish it. So the more transparency we have, the more stable we have in our how we present the pro-gun positions to the community.
Okay.
The other one I look at, I went to a gun show a couple weeks ago. I've only been able to go to one gun show to collect signatures, whereas last year I think I went to 6. COVID's gotten in the way.
Yeah.
But I collected 170 signatures at that gun show. And there were over 250 people, because I did little tick marks on my clipboard, of people who said they were no longer members. And so to me, what do we do to re-engage the people who have gotten frustrated with the mismanagement and the spending, to bring them back into the fold as NRA members?
Well, and let's be clear, I certainly don't advocate. I want a strong NRA. The NRA, even though I work for the Second Amendment Foundation, man, the NRA, we need to have a very strong NRA. And what's with the things happening in New York and Washington, D.C., that cannot help the situation, but we do need a strong NRA. Even though I work for what some would consider the competition, none of us here at the SAF are anti-NRA by any stretch of the imagination.
No. Well, I mean, I'm a life member of SAF. I'm a life member of GOA. I'm a benefactor member of NOA. Mm-hmm. I'm a life member of, in Pennsylvania, Firearms Owners Against Crime. I want to support all the organizations that are stepping up for our rights. And one of the reasons why I think we do need the strong NRA, we had a lobby day in Pennsylvania a couple weeks ago, where we went out, we were talking to the senators, we were talking to the representatives, and they asked, where is the NRA on this issue? You know, we could talk about SAF and GOA, but NRA is the one that has the name recognition. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. We need the strong NRA that's aggressively supporting our rights, not passively. Like I'm a pistol brace guy, and so where's the NRA advocating for pistol braces?
Right, absolutely. Yeah. So let me ask you this then. You meet up with somebody, you see somebody who's an NRA member, and first of all, to vote, they have to be a life member or a member for 5 consecutive years.
Correct.
You meet up with somebody that meets those qualifications, can vote for the NRA board. What's your 30-second pitch to them? What's your elevator's pitch, so to speak, to vote for you for the board?
So I'm an NRA benefactor member. I've been a longtime supporter since the late 70s. I'm an NRA training counselor. I have trained thousands of instructors and many thousand students in marksmanship, firearm safety. I'm an experienced board member who knows how boards are supposed to work. And I believe that we need to get transparency and reduce the size of the board, get term limits in place, and get the focus back on serving the members, because the organization's inverted. Management works for the board works for the members. And right now we seem to be inverted, where we're working for the leader. And we need to get management in place and a board in place where the board's doing the job it's supposed to do.
Well, very cool. Last thing I want to ask you about here is voting. Everybody gets a ballot, and it's got dozens and dozens of names on it. Is one vote for you and a vote for this and that other person? How much does it help, or is it what's the best way to make sure that Frank Tait gets that position when April rolls around?
The best way to vote is what's called bullet voting, and that is only vote for the candidates that you know are supporting the positions that you believe the NRA needs. And so with many people, they vote just for me. I'm not sure who else is going to be on the ballot. I know that, for example, Colonel Bob Brown would be up for election. Colonel Brown, he's the publisher of Soldier of Fortune. He's somebody who advocates for change. Dwayne Liptak, who is the COO of Magpul. Dwayne is a great guy. I would advocate for Dwayne. But as far as I know, that's it in terms of being able to make positive change for the NRA. And so only vote for the people that you need. The fewer votes, the better, because every time somebody fills in 20, if I'm one of 20, I haven't gained any ground. Whereas bullet voting helps me gain ground against the other people running for the board.
Well, very, very cool. Well, Frank, we're running close on time here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set it aside here, but I want to thank you so much for joining us to talk to us today.
Paul, great. Thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for all the Second Amendment Foundation does for us.
Folks, we're going to go ahead and set this one aside. I want you to come and join us tomorrow when we'll release another one.